Here we go. It's Friday Night Live with Matches 860. And we're smoking a Punto Oro Savinelli 673 with some Cornell and Deal Pegasus this evening. Really hitting the spot. It is 73 degrees, partly cloudy in Connecticut. And it's the first we've seen of the sun today, or this week. It's been raining all week. So we're happy for a little dry weather. Hoping tomorrow's a little better too. We have 50 in the audience. Not bad. Did I see? Oh, Doug Owen. Oh my goodness. Look at, I can't keep up with you guys. Slow down, slow down. Now my pipe went out. Got a couple of interesting things this evening. I do have the troubled Savinelli that we will be talking about in a little bit. Also, got something in the mail yesterday from a good friend, Ronnie. This is an old tin of Edgeworth slices. And yes, I got them. Be smoking that and talking about it in a little bit. And those are my two main events tonight. Haven't got much else. It's been a quiet week. Was hoping to do a video today, but it was pouring out. See if we can get it done tomorrow. Just a funny story to kind of a side story to the job I'm at now. That'll be a fun one to do. So my troubled Savinelli. This was one of the original 4 unfinished Savinellis that I bought. I told the story in my Friday Savinelli story video. And I loved the idea that you could get a pipe that was unfinished. And I think this was like the 3rd out of the 4 that I bought. And it's just never smoked right. And I've checked the drilling. It's spot on. There's nothing funny, you know, no cracks in the shank or anything. Just a regular pipe. And you can tell I've smoked it quite a bit, but I've never had a good smoke out of it. Sometimes it will overheat, but it doesn't do it every smoke. Sometimes it'll smoke real wet, but it doesn't do it every smoke. Sometimes I have to relight to the point where I just give up and reach for another pipe because I just can't take it. If you can think of any disaster with a pipe, I've probably had it with that one. It's haunted. But I keep it around because I have great memories of picking up those unfinished Savinellis at the brick and mortar. Just can't find anything like that these days around here. Wanted to thank Briar Report for sending out a tweet 10 minutes before we got on the air tonight. That was very nice of them. Check out briarreport.com and briarreport.org for all their pipe and tobacco information. Great folks to work with. '81 in the house. We're doing okay. Doug, there's no noticeable difference on all of those pipes. I increased the draft hole just a bit. What is it, 11/30 seconds or something like that, because they came through a bit small for me. But there's nothing noticeable. The pipe just acts weird all the time, and it's not anything that's consistent. I've also had a number of times where it burns unevenly, but it doesn't burn unevenly in the same place every time. Because I know if the draft hole is off a bit, sometimes you can burn on one side and not on the other. But like I said, the thing's haunted, and it just it doesn't like to smoke. Jimmy Tabacchi, how are you doing? Curmudgeon Piper. There's Briar Report. Ghost Cobb's in the house. Patrick LeVar, good evening. Great to see you. Pacemaker and Buttons 2023. Good evening, sir, to you. I'm assuming it's a sir. Pungo Briar is going to light up some haunted bookshop. Pungo Briar, if you haven't smoked Pegasus, you really should. But I have a feeling you've had it, and maybe we talked about it last week. Pork Pie Piper, hiya. Everett Young has a Brigham that doesn't smoke well. Actually, you know what? I have another situation here for Cane Rod Piper. Hold on. So I was at work Wednesday, and of course it's raining out. Went out to take a walk and have a smoke, and I had something in my hands, and my pipe slipped out of my mouth. My beautiful Savinelli Tundra busted the stem in 2 places. Broke my heart. As it was on the way down to hit the pavement, I just knew it wasn't going to be good. So we're saving this to send off to Cane Rod Pipes when he's ready to do some repairs. That was this week's disaster. And let's see, Pipe Rider Bona Piper. And we have 98 in the house. What are we shooting for tonight? Let's shoot big for about 115. See if we can do that. That would be great. If not, we'll take 100, which we're at now. That's good. That's good. 2 a.m. pipe on the patio. How you doing tonight? Great to see you. So my Edgeworth here. I haven't seen if Pipes and Kayaks or Mark and Rhode Island are in the house tonight, but if they are, I believe this might be from the 1940s. I kind of did a quick search, and there was a tin just like this with the striker on the back from the 1940s. And I got to tell you, the tobacco is as good or better than the 1970s stuff that we smoked last October. Oh, I can't wait to have a bowl when I'm finished with this. Great stuff. The tin was sealed, and inside of it, somewhere here, is the stamp that was on it. Tax stamp. But I don't know if anybody's very good with figuring out what date that would be. There's no date on it. The other thing is, when I was doing the quick search on this, the 1940s tin showed this inside wrapper. At any rate, it's old. So I think I'm almost done with this bowl of Pegasus. Thanks for the information, Scott. I know I've seen tobacco stamps with years printed on them. Hey, there's Pipes and Kayaks. Lunting Larry Higgins, good evening. We're at 111. Somebody get your next door neighbor. We're almost at 115. All right, we're gonna set that over there. Just look at those flakes. And to anybody who hasn't had some vintage Edgeworth slices, oh, you don't know what you're missing. Just as tasty as can be. And I typically just fold these up and stuff them. For anybody who's wondering, Ronnie, who sent me these, said that when he opened the tin, the flakes were dry, but he did rehydrate them. He did a great job because, as I said, these are as good or better than the 1970s stuff that we had. 119, we did it. Thank you, folks. You're awesome. I would say that these flakes right now were perfect. This ought to smoke really good. I will do my best to tell you what I'm tasting. Here we go. Oh, we're smoking a Savinelli, Clark's favorite. Compliments of Cargo Hold out in Paulsbo, Washington. Proprietor Doug Owen, our chief man here that knows everything about pipes and tobaccos. Oh boy, is that good. Relight. Really getting a great taste of like molasses, brown sugar. Terrific. You can just tell that the leaf that was used in this was awesome. Oh, fantastic stuff. Piping artist Steph, good evening. Eric, the blue collar pipe smoker, how are you? Hope you were all able to catch Eric, the blue collar pipe smokers giveaway. I believe it was, let's see, we had Smooth Piper Peter, Art, and what was his name? Down in Texas. A police guy down in Texas was the other pipes. And I had sent, well, Eric had contacted me in the winter, I think it was, or maybe last fall, asked me if I had some pipes that I wanted refurbished. And I said, hey, I'll send you some pipes, but I don't want them back. You know, you can fool with them. And then I said, even better than that, why don't you have a contest and give them away? Eric's not into contests, which I can understand. So he pretty much fixed them up and thought of 3 very deserving people in the community, and he shipped them off. Very good looking pipes. It's really a shame that you can't get the Edgeworth slices anymore. For anyone who smoked the Lane Limited Ready Rubbed, it's the taste is about the same, but the flake just burns so nice. And there's an added, I think, an added leaf flavor, natural, leaf flavor that goes along with the slice more than I find with the Lane Limited. Edgeworth. Yes, Pipe Writer. We haven't seen you in video for a long time. Hello, the Eltopian, Dale. How are you? Aristocob is in the house. Good evening, Scott. Hope you're mending well. I've only caught a couple of quick shots. I think you were finishing up with physical therapy or something. Hope that's all going well. Thank you very much, Scott. The tip jar, we love it. $116 in the house. Cool Pipinator. Yes. Scott's videos, terrific. I've been watching him for years and years. And geez, the guy, if you want to know anything about cobs, he's the man to go to. Glad to hear you're doing better than expected. I think we've gone out here. Oh. Hello, Brandon Sides. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Mark. The Clark's favorite is a real looker. A lot of fun to smoke as well. Recommendations for a pipe lighter besides a Zippo or a Bic. Well, I can't help you out there because those are the only two things that I use. But you've got 111 experts here in the house, and somebody certainly can point you in the right direction. Jeff Palmer, I agree. Nothing like having a full house. Was a little bummed out last week because the numbers were down, and I mentioned that I've been doing this 8 years now, and starting in about May every year, my view counts go down the tubes. And I'm sure it's because people get outside, they're busy. You know, in the winter time, there's more time for people to watch your stuff. So, we hit 120, which was great. But the other side of that coin is, like, instead of 115 people, we were under 100. But the amount of time that people were staying on and watching, which is really important, was up. So I'll take that over the number of people in the house any day. Statistics are a funny thing. There's a great question about smoking a blend inside and outside, and he seems to think that it was weaker when he smoked it outside. Could be, could be. When you're inside, you're probably getting a more intense ingestion of the smoke, I would think. But you're also outside getting a lot more fresh air. Interesting question. Secondhand smoke. I wonder if secondhand smoke, that doesn't make any sense. Carter Hall and a Cobb, Paperback Piper. Matty Ice. I still have not tried the Amphora Burley yet. Been busy with my Pegasus and Haunted Bookshop, and I also have another guy who's sending me some Burley that he grew. In fact, I think he's sending me like a pound of stuff that he grew. So I'll be looking forward to checking that out. We may be smoking that next Friday night. Who knows? Wow, 126 in the house. Where did everybody come from? How many Zippos do I have? Let's call it a dozen. I also have a bunch of the old, whatever they're called, lighters. I'll get one. I got about 6 of these things. These are pretty cool. Probably got them back in the day with some coupons or something. I don't know. They don't make them like this anymore either. Doug Owen answering the lighter question. I bet he sells lighters at the cargo hold. Central Pipe Smoker. Summer's doing well. She's around and about somewhere. We're going very quickly here. Yeah, I also have, what is that one? Just like this, except it's Alpine. I don't know if you remember those cigarettes from way back in the 60s. Greg, a lot of people ask about the fuel flavor from the Zippos, and I would be lying if I said there wasn't any flavor, but for me, I've gotten used to it, and I've seen that question come up on Facebook in the pipe groups a lot, and other people that use Zippos say the same thing, that it's just something that, I mean, it doesn't bother you after a while. It never did bother me. The tobacco memes, they're all created by Eric the Blue Collar Pipe Smoker. I will actually take any form of advertisement I can get. Lefty 68, hope all is well in Michigan. Got quite a few from Michigan in the pipe community. Interesting, Onion. I really don't think about the flavor at all, but I know that anybody who hasn't used one and they're going to try using one, they will taste it because everybody says they do. And we just about hit the bottom of this, I think. Or I've got to, I think I got to clean this out. Boswell Northwoods. That is fantastic stuff. I don't think I've run across anybody that doesn't like Northwoods. I was always reluctant to try anything from Boswell's because I knew that they specialized kind of in aromatics. And I knew the people that liked their stuff, they had totally different flavor profiles than myself. So I figured, well, I probably wouldn't like any of the Boswell blends, but I did have the Northwoods, which I really liked. And someone sent me the Burley Delight, I think it's called, which I didn't care for because it had a little too much flavoring to it that I didn't care for. So now if they sent me the Burley Delight without the flavoring, I probably would have liked it. Hello, Idaho. Glad you were able to join us on the live stream. Rustic Piper wants to know, is anyone smoking 1Q in a cob? That would be Aristocob. Central Pipe Smoker. I used to always get Ronson fuel because it was what was available locally. And now you can't find Ronsons. You can only find the Zippo, which is okay with me because it all does the same thing. But I have to agree with Doug. The Zippos, if you're an outdoor person, into survival stuff, you can't beat the Zippo. As long as you keep it fueled, you're never going to have a problem lighting because that's just how the Zippos are. That guy that created those was a genius. $129. I think we hit a record here. Gadzooks, 131. I ought to stay on for an hour. Orlick Golden Sliced, great stuff. Sociology, dude. I took sociology as a minor in college. Some of that gets pretty heavy. While we're on the subject of Zippos, I can remember growing up, I had one of the Zippo hand warmers. You want to talk about something that's terrific in the wintertime. See if you can get a hold of a Zippo hand warmer. They will keep you toasty. Yeah, I haven't looked up the hand warmer. I just remember having one, and I remember putting it in my pants pocket one winter, and after like an hour and a half, I had to move it to the other pocket because it was actually burning my leg, but does a great job keeping you warm. Oh, pacemaker and buttons 2023. I'm looking more healthier, huh? It must be my new shirt that my daughter gave me for Father's Day. Ah, yes, pipes make the best hand warmers. And this one is out. So the question now is, what do we smoke next? All right, let's see what we got here. Do we go back to the Punto Oro? I think we're gonna do the custom built ribbon cut burley. Ah, yes, River Tree. Born just outside of Boston. Well, kind of in Boston, Dorchester. And spent 25 years in Natick, 18 miles west of Boston. And lived in Framingham, which is right next door to Natick, for a couple of years. And then I moved to Connecticut. So, been here my whole life. People always say, oh, you know, you ought to retire to Florida or something like that. No way. Florida's too hot for me in January, so I definitely wouldn't like it. Yeah, I guess the chair does squeak. I should get a new one. every one of the cats has scratched this thing to death. Oh, Doug, that reminds me. I've been wondering the same thing about Dion, because he used to come on right after me, and I know for, I think 2 or 3 weeks he moved to 10 o'clock, and then he just kind of like disappeared. I'm not sure what happened to him. Barry Becker, great to see you. Hope all is well, buddy. I don't know if WD-40 would do anything for this chair because I think it's all plastic. Yeah, the other thing I like about New England is the history. And even this afternoon, I had to go out in the afternoon and I got caught in traffic on Main Street. And normally I breeze right through Main Street in Farmington. And Main Street is where the original settlers started to build. So on each one of the houses is a plaque that says like 1675, 1690, 17 something. So it was kind of fun, even though I was stuck in traffic, to just sit and look at all the houses and what year they were built. Can't do that in Florida. How do flakes compare with ribbon cuts in terms of taste and lighting? Lighting is definitely easier, I can tell you that. What am I looking for? A temper. And the flavor, I don't think you can beat the flavor of a flake if you tried. And it's actually two different things anyway, because usually a flake is made up of more than one component, where like the ribbon cut burley is just burley that's ribbon cut. So it's kind of hard to compare taste wise. But because the ribbon is burning up rapidly, I don't know. Another interesting question for those who feel like pondering. Pungo Briar, I agree. They're richer and deeper. Upon a Starry Night, flake or plug? Oh my goodness. Peterson 3Ps plug. Has to be the best plug that I ever smoked, but it's tough to cut. So I think everything considered, I would take the flake over the plug. I'm too lazy to worry about dealing with the plug. Yes, Barry, they're all interesting things. Do not have any Viking pipes, no. I actually got one of my employees had a death in the family. Her mother died. And cleaning out the mother's house, they came across the father's pipe and tobacco. And what did I do with that? Wait a minute. So I got 3 boxes of Sir Walter Raleigh and a Graybo, Dr. Graybo, that I have at work that needed cleaning and reaming. So I do that on my break time at work. Sometime I'll show that. But that was really nice. And the I've already gotten into one of the things of Sir Walter Raleigh. The prices on that are 59 cents a box. And she said her dad died in 1981. So I think that stuff is from the 70s or early 80s. 127, 129. And there's Scott. He's smoking Sutliff 1M. We thought it was lane 1Q, Scott. G.A. Briarman, great to see you. Had a little video conference with G.A. Briarman and his brother Tim last Saturday. Always great talking to them. I think we covered every subject under the sun. Exchanging notes on various tobaccos and pipes. Hello, Chris Jones. Thanks for joining us. David, welcome aboard. Glad you could join us. Thank you for the kind words. Pongo Briar, you're going to love Pegasus, I think. Doesn't quite have the snap of Haunted Bookshop because it doesn't have the Perique. And the tanginess of the Virginia isn't quite the same, but the burley side of it is just fantastic. Justin, we're so glad that you have a schedule that you can join us. Big and burly, big and burly. Bang Zoom, what's the best low nicotine pipe tobacco? That's a good question. Hopefully somebody can help him out with that because I'm going to answer Barry Becker. Every cube cut burley that I've ever had is dry. And I got cube cut burley from Cornell and Deal. just dry as the desert. But also, if you take something like the Lane Limited Ready Rub, which is a lot of cube in there, I don't know what it is about it, but that also tends to be somewhat dry. Why, I don't know, but it is. I love cube cut burley, but I've said it before. It's not like you can load up your pipe and put it in your pocket for later, because the cube cut burley will just fall right out of the pipe as you walk around. David, for me, burley smokes best in a bulldog or a Rhodesian. Part of that may be because those are my favorite shapes as well. This custom built smokes burleys unbelievably, and just as good as my 673s. So I'm not so sure that shape has anything to do with it, but most certainly from a psychological perspective, I know it does with me. Old Joe Krantz, great stuff. Raymond, sorry to hear about that mess. Not sure where you are, but I'm guessing central US or slightly south, maybe. John, there's a couple of esotericas that I've never had, and Stonehaven is one of them, believe it or not. And I have no real desire to go out looking for it, because I know that you pay all outdoors if you can find it. There's some Sir Walter Raleigh right there. Smoking it in a bulldog. Pipewriter, as far as I know, Esoterica still has their blend out there, which the last I read was made by J.F. Germain. Cornell and Deal Epiphany, you can't beat it. Great stuff. Thank you, G.A. Briarman. I thought it was J.F. Germain. Oh, McBaron London Blend Burley. Terrific stuff. I love it. From the 70s. I love it even more. Jack Griffin. Cigar Leaf. Fantastic. We are coming up on, we just hit 55 minutes past the hour. And I think it's time for me to stop boring everybody. So we will kind of wrap things up. Be on the lookout for my next video. Hope to do it tomorrow. Want to thank you all for joining me tonight, and have a pleasant weekend. Thanks again.